Welcome to Star Wars Outlaws. In this video we're going to be going through my ultimate beginner guide. I'm going to give you guys some tips and tricks to help you out in the game. And starting this one off, I recommend that you finish the main story before doing too many side quests and doing intel missions and stuff as well, because some things in the game are going to be locked behind story progression. For an example, breaking walls down and using a fusion cutter to cut through doors and stuff. It's not mandatory that you do that, but if you want to go around doing all of the puzzles and getting all the collectibles and stuff, then make sure you focus on the main story first. After the main story, you can just jump back in and do everything in the open world. Next up is do not worry about credits in this game. I've seen a lot of credit glitch videos, but having completed the game, done the main story, done quite a lot of the side content, I can safely say the credits will rarely ever be an issue, and I finished the game with over 20,000 credits, having never used a glitch. Then next up is to make sure that you are exploring, but that's not just the planets. Explore space as well, because some of the materials you will need for upgrades will only be found in space. But I recommend doing a lot of exploration, like for an example when you're on a main story quest, if you go and look around the area you're in, it's going to be very helpful, but space is just as important as the planets. And next up, if you are wanted by the Empire, then try clearing it as quick as you can, especially before the Death Trooper squad comes in, as when the Death Troopers arrive, going to their camp and disabling your wanted level is the only way to clear it. When the Death Troopers are in, you can't go to the Imperial terminals or anything like that. You have to deal with the Death Troopers. Not in terms of killing them, but go into their camp, grabbing yourself a key card and then clearing your wanted level. And next up, if you go somewhere that doesn't have a fast travel spot, but you need to go back and forth multiple times, then what you can do is leave your speeder there whenever possible, as your speeder in this game is going to count as a fast travel point. Then next up, when you are exploring, make sure that you are looting everything, because you never know when you're going to come across a vendor or something, and you will need certain materials or upgrades. Upgrades in this game are very, very important for certain things, like max health and things like that. And it literally takes 2 seconds, if you're on a controller, to run over to a material and click in your right thumbstick to pick it up and put it in your inventory. Then next up, there is a criminal network, a bunch of factions in the game, and contracts are the fastest way to increase your reputation with the different factions. I do have a separate video on the channel for it, showing you exactly what to do, to build up your rep the fastest way possible. But you basically want to do the contracts that are in orbit and the ones that also don't require stealing from another faction. That basically is just picking up and delivering cargo. They are going to get you a lot of rep very, very fast. And that also ties in with getting yourself into a good standing with all the factions in the game. As if you are in a bad standing with any of the factions, it's only going to make your experience with the game a lot more difficult. When you're in a bad standing, you are going to be hunted as soon as you enter one of the faction's territories. But on the other end of it, when you're in an excellent reputation, not only can you go around their territories without being hunted, but you can also take everything in there without it being classed as stealing. Then next up is do not stress too much about the stealth in this game. There is a lot of it, but for some of the missions, it feels as though it's required to be stealthy, because it'll say do not trigger or do not raise any alarms. But if you go around, you sabotage the alarms or even send Nicks off to go and do it, or even if you kill the person that's trying to sound the alarm, you are going to be safe to open fire and blast some of the enemies. So providing you have dealt with the alarms, you are allowed to open fire. It's just if an alarm gets triggered, that's basically going to reset you to the last checkpoint. And next up, if you do not enjoy the slicing and the lock overriding in the game with the data spike, there are settings in the game to change how all of that works. So I'd recommend even before you start playing the game, go through all of the different settings and set the game up for exactly how you want to experience it. And then last but definitely not least, pay attention to your gear, as you will eventually find gear sets that have bonuses for wearing the full set, and you'll also get things like charms that are going to be really helpful too. And that's especially when it comes to your health, which starts off in this game really, really low, but it eventually gets so much better. I ended this game with a back to vial that healed very quickly. It gave a chunk of my health back the moment I used it, and I believe I also had 6 bars of health. So yeah, it took the Empire quite a long time to take me down. And with all of that being said, that was my ultimate beginner guide, some tips and tricks to help you guys out in Star Wars Outlaws. And what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out. Thank you for watching.